Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fiberglass Friday. See, look, there's me face. So I think today we're just gonna walk around and I'm gonna show you what I'm working on right now. Got a few little projects, some of them are a little bit different. Hopefully there'll be some tips and tricks that you guys can use on your project. So I'll start right off with this guy here. So this is the bench top I made with all the applique leaf on it. And it's with urethane rubber, not latex, this one. The good thing about using urethane rubber when you're using fiberglass, it doesn't stick at all. It's not like the latex where you can get lockups onto the rubber and it can be really difficult. I still use 2 coats of wax and 2 coats of PVA before I start the glass, but it just pops off readily. It's nice stuff to work with. So what I'm going to show you here is the sides. This is going to take a little while. So here's one side of the unit. Now you might be saying, why are you doing a drop mold style but with separated sides? The problem is because if you can see here in the rubber, those aren't just undulations from the rubber. It's because of the applique leaves. There's lots of bumps and bulges. They stick out all over around. So if I made a drop mold out of it, I'd have too much problem, as you can see if you look down the line of it too. There's too many lumps and bumps and stuff is going to get hung up and it'd just be a nightmare. So that's why I'm going to do a 3-piece. So it's going to have 2 large sides to it and then a top. Now, what I'm doing is I want this heavy duty, because this top is probably close to about 200 pounds, I'm guessing, maybe even just a tad over. So you want your glass to be super strong. So I've done 6 layers on here of the 1.5 ounce chop mat, but I didn't do it all at once. You should only technically do two layers a day, but I did 3 layers yesterday and then 3 layers this morning. So what you're going to do, you lay your first 3 layers on, and then you come in the morning and with your sander with just like a 120 grit on it, you're just going to hit your glass again fast. You're looking for little sticking up pieces, little biters I call them, little pieces of glass that are sticking up, because if they're sticking up a little nub on your glass, your new glass won't be able to push that down and you're going to have a big pronounced bump on your glass. So just sand it down really fast, nothing fancy, and then just proceed like you did the day before and add another 3 layers. So this whole piece it's 6 layers thick. It's really heavy duty. When I come to the top piece, it's going to be 6 as well, but I might also, because I'm worried a little bit about deformation, so because of the weight of it. So what I might do is either I'm going to run a couple 2x4s and glass them in, or I might actually get some 3/4 inch or 5/8 plywood and make like a base and glass that right in there too. Then I don't have to worry about it deforming at all, or like curving outwards actually that way if you're working on it. So I just wanted to be nice and stiff and hard and be able to take the weight. So the reason I've got these little foam widgets in here is just so when you're applying your glass, you've got some backing for the cardboard. I use the cardboard, right, for the seam lines. Just that you've got something to press up against, because on a nice flat project like this, you can use your glass rollers. We've showed them before. They're pretty useless when we do a lot of statue work or something like this. You can never get into all the little nooks and crannies. But for these flat ones here, sorry, I just lost my washer for this one here, but you're just going to go on and run it down the length, and you're going to push all the bubbles out, all the air, make sure you got a nice air-free piece. So this one looks really nice. Like when you're flat, use these for sure. If you've got any kind of a flat surface you're doing, give it a quick roll and get all that air out of there, so you've got a nice uncompromised piece of glass there. So happy how that's coming. Probably take another couple days to do this side and a couple days to do the top. So next week We'll have that ready to get off the table. Most of the smalls are off. There's a couple little odds and sods, but all those covered up ones are the more larger guys. They'll be heading in the next week. They're going to be hitting the table. This one too. That's that big pillar with the applique leaves on it as well. That's coming up. So we've started on one over here, but what I'll do is we'll just stop over here quick. This was that teapot. Remember the teapot that I made with the clay work on it? Just finished it off this morning. There's the little notch again. So see if I can do this one-handed. Now just because I'm trying, I won't. Sorry for the jiggity jaggedy here. I'll just pop this guy off for you to see what's in there. There we go. One side off. So you can see it has on this side, I've got a vent for the spout on the teapot, and this is the corresponding bump in the glass here. Lots of people ask, what do you do? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Dremel and just cut that off with a diamond bit, so you've got like a centered hole on there, and then you're going to cut the tip with a nice sharp blade. You're going to cut the tip off of that vent there, and it's going to fit nicely into the glass piece and ready to go as a vent. So just try to get this off one-handed. Sorry, gang. There we go. So then this one has the vents on the other side. So here's a vent, and here's a vent, and the corresponding, whoops, out of focus, bumps. Same thing, cut it off, cut off the nibs on there, and good to go. So a little top on it, and a foam center, foam core, works really slick. I think it would be really hard to get a glass one out of there. To get a glass plug would be really tough. So anyway, happy that one's off, and on to the next one. This is a Chinese Empress statue. In here, I have a fiberglass plug, you know, the foam glass plugs that I make. That's what's in the center there. So I can do a 3-piece, 1, 2, and then a full piece for the front. I just tape it up because I always over-engineer things, because I always just worry about glass on glass sticking. But usually you can just go over the glass with the wax and the PVA and you're good. But I just throw some tape on just to be double safe. So that's going to be gone probably by this afternoon. So here we've got a nice big pillar ready to go. So you don't need to do cardboard on this side or a seam, because you've just got that natural, the one seam line on here. See the back side of it. Like so. It's a curved top on there. So I'm probably going to lay him down on its side. Make a couple foam pieces that'll attach onto the back to keep it up off of the table. And because this one will be probably in the like 5 layers deep sort of a effort as well. So I think we've covered that before. It's easy when you're doing something tall, a tall vertical piece like this is much easier to lay it down. If you're doing multiple layers, what can happen is when you have overhangs like this and you've got your glass is heavy with resin, you're going to be all finished, you're going to walk away and come back, and the whole thing's going to be laying at the base in a big pile, and that's really frustrating. So lay it down, so just to avoid that sort of nonsense, okay? And I'll probably do another one by time next Friday comes. I'll probably still be working on pieces of that one. We can go over that again. So this here, I'll stand one up, is a pair of angels. So I did make some nice glass plugs that were going to fit behind the wings, but I made an error. It's not always rainbows and unicorns, right? So I should have added more clay in the back here when I was doing the original piece, because what I've got is a real nasty hook in here, and these just won't come out. Like if I put a top on there, there's no way. It's too shallow. There's too many ridges in there. I'd never get these out on both of them. So what I've gone to is I just ordered and got in some more of the Flex Foam at 14. The 14 is really dense. It's a real heavy duty foam. And I'm going to just do foam cores. That's why they're laying down wax and PVA on there. And I'm just going to pour some foam in probably later this afternoon. And the plugs will be ready to go. And I'll keep you posted on that as we go too. So anyway, don't want to make this too long, too much yapping. But thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button. And if you look below, I'll give links to DIY Molds, the free forum, and to my Instagram and Facebook pages. Okay, gang, see you later. Take care.